Hi, I am your Tally Guru Abhijit Joshi, and this is Skilled Prime User, a unique course designed to train you on the use of Tally Prime. So far, in previous video lessons, we have discussed purchases, sales, receipts, and payment voucher types. In this video lesson, we are going to discuss contra entries, credit notes, debit notes, and journal vouchers. First, we will discuss the contra voucher type. From Gateway of Tally, we will select Voucher. Here we can see that the voucher type is payment. To select the contra voucher, we will either click here or press the function key F4. Like the receipt and the payment voucher, the contra voucher also has two modes. We will now click the Change Mode button. Here we can see the two modes, the single entry mode and the double entry mode. We will select the single entry mode. If we deposit cash in the bank, or we withdraw money from the bank and put it in the cash box. If we transfer cash from one cash account to another, meaning we have two locations where cash transactions are being conducted and we transfer cash from one location to the other. If our company has accounts in two different banks and we wish to transfer funds from one bank to another, for instance, if the balance in one bank is low, we will deposit a check from the other bank into the first bank. All such entries can be recorded using the contra voucher type in Tally Prime. Till now we have discussed 4 voucher types: goods purchased, purchase; goods sold, sales; cash received, check received, receipt; cash paid, check paid, payment. Now the 5th one: cash to bank to cash or bank to bank, contra. It is important to recite these lines like a poem, as they will serve as a guideline while entering vouchers in Tally Prime. While entering a contra voucher, you should always remember these 2 lines. From where have you come? And where do you want to go? In this case, the money will come from the cash box and go into the Dena Bank. Where you want to go? In this case is Dena Bank. So the ledger of Dena Bank is selected on the top in the field Account. From where have you come is the cash box. So the ledger under the particulars will be the cash account. Can anyone tell me that if we transfer money from Dena Bank to the ICICI Bank, which ledger will go on the top in the field Accounts and which will go under the particulars? Anyone in the class? Come on, quick. Yes, Tapendra.
Sir, I guess ICICI Bank will go on top and Dena Bank will be under particulars.
You don't have to guess. You are absolutely correct. In the field account, we will select the ICICI Bank. And in the particulars, we will select Dena Bank. In this entry, the ICICI Bank's ledger will be debited and the Dena Bank's ledger will be credited. So this was the single entry mode of the contra voucher. We will now click on the change mode and select the double entry mode. Now on the left side first, we will select Dena Bank to credit and the ICICI Bank to debit. We will enter the amounts on the right side. Like every voucher entered in the double entry, total of debits and the total of credits have to match. I suppose all of you have understood it. Surekha, have you?
Yes, sir.
Good. The next voucher we will discuss is the credit note. To select the credit note, we will click the button menu on the receipt button and then select credit note. First, we will understand the use of credit notes, and before that, we will understand debits and credits. Let's say we sold goods to Yadav Sweets. This means the goods left our godown and were delivered to Yadav Sweets. So, we can say that the goods moved from our sales to Yadav Sweets. The direction of the transaction is from sales to Yadav Sweets. So, arrow is pointing to Yadav Sweets. So we will define a rule to understand debits and credits. Debit the direction of the arrow and credit the other side. This is not an accounting rule based on formal knowledge, but rather a practical guideline we use to determine which ledger to debit and which to credit. I will repeat, we will identify the side to which the arrow is pointing and will debit it and credit the opposite side. So the ledger of Yadav Sweets will be debited and the sales account will be credited. Now the goods which we sold were damaged and Yadav Sweets returned the same. The goods have now traveled from Yadav Sweets to us. Now that the arrow points towards us, we have already told you that we will debit the arrow point and credit the other side. As a result, our account is debited and Yadav Sweets account is credited. Now when we see both the transactions, first we sold goods to Yadav Sweets. That time the arrow pointed towards Yadav Sweets. So the ledger of Yadav Sweets was debited. And in the next transaction, when Yadav Sweets returned the damaged goods, the arrow direction was towards us. So our account was debited and the ledger of Yadav Sweets was credited. Pay your attention and listen to me properly. When the goods are returned, we credit the ledger of Yadav Sweets. To record such transactions, we use the voucher credit note. Now we can say that the transaction of sales return is recorded as a credit note. To summarize it again, in the first transaction, we debited the ledger of Yadav Sweets. And in the second transaction, when the goods were returned, we credited the ledger of Yadav Sweets. This return of goods is called the sales return and is recorded in the voucher type credit note. I'll repeat. Sales returns are recorded as credit note. We will now click on the credit note button. Like other vouchers, the credit note can also be entered using various modes, except here the credit note has 4 modes. The 4th mode is right now out of the scope of our study. We will first select the item invoice mode. If you notice that the credit note voucher type resembles the sales voucher. On the top, we can select the customer's ledger or the cash ledger. In case of a sales return, we will select the customer's ledger who has returned us the goods. Now in the ledger account, we will select the ledger, sales return. Like the sales ledger, we will create another ledger to record the transactions related to return of goods. Now, in the second part of the voucher, we will list all the rejected stock items along with their quantities and rates. In the next part, we will select the ledgers for additional costs, discounts, and taxes. Upon entering the voucher, the customer's account will be credited, while the ledgers for sales return, other charges, and taxes will be debited. Here, we had stock items that were rejected, so we used the item invoice mode. In the case of rejected services, we refer to it as a deficiency of services. If we provide services to a customer and there are deficiencies, the customer will not pay the full amount. We will need to adjust this deducted amount. To account for this, we must pass a credit note. If you remember last time, to select a credit note, we clicked the menu button of the receipt button and then selected the credit note. Instead of doing that, we will directly click the button Other Vouchers, and from list of vouchers, we will select the credit note. Right now, this credit note contains a list of stock items which is used for recording sales returns. To record a deficiency in services, we will need to change the mode. We will now click the Change Mode button and select Accounting Invoice. Here, we will select the customer's ledger to whom we have provided deficient services. In the particular section, we will specify the ledger for services provided along with other charges and taxes. Upon accepting the voucher, the customer's ledger will be credited, while the ledger for services and taxes will be debited. Like the sales and purchase vouchers, the credit note also follows the double entry mode. We can click the Change Mode button and select the As Voucher mode, then choose the ledgers to debit or credit and enter the credit note. We will now move on to the next voucher type, that is debit note. To select the debit note, we can click the menu besides the payment button and select debit note. Note the function key F5 has underlined under it. That is, the shortcut key is Alt plus F5. It is definitely convenient to select other vouchers, and from the list of vouchers, select the debit note. Now this is the debit note, and this is an item invoice. First, let us talk about what a debit note is. Just as our customers reject our goods, and we record it as a credit note, when we reject the supplier's goods, we record it as a debit note. We print this debit note and send it to the customer. So now we can say that Vouchers returns are recorded using a debit note. So when we purchase goods, the goods travel from our supplier, that is Lalu Milk Mart, to us. Here, the direction of the transaction is towards us, so we debit our purchase account and credit the ledger of Lalu Milk Mart. And now when we reject the goods, we will send the rejected goods to Lalu Milk Mart. The direction of transaction is now towards Lalu Milk Mart. As per our arrow rule, the pointing direction will be debited and the other side will be credited. Now, when we summarize both transactions, in the first transaction, Lalu Milk Mart's ledger was credited. Then, when the goods were returned, Lalu Milk Mart's ledger was debited. We can now say that purchase returns are recorded as debit notes. Samidha, which voucher can we use to record goods returned by our customers?
Sir, do you mean to say sales return?
Yes.
Sir, it is credit note.
And what about purchase returns?
Sir, it is debit note.
Good. While entering the debit note voucher, we will first select the supplier's name in the party name field of whom we are rejecting the goods. Now, in the ledger account field, we will select the purchase return ledger. The purchase ledger is used to record goods purchased. Similarly, the purchase return ledger is used to record the returned goods. Now, under stock items, we will select the list of rejected stock items along with their quantities and rates. In the next section, we will select the ledgers for additional costs and taxes. The ledger postings will be as follows. The supplier's account will be debited. The purchase return ledger will be credited. The additional costs and taxes will also be credited. This was the debit notes item invoice mode. In the case of a deficiency in supply by a service provider, we will deduct the amount payable to him. To record a deficiency in services, we will use the accounting invoice mode of the credit note. To do so, we will click on the Change Mode button and select Accounting Invoice. First, in the Party Accounts name field, we will select the supplier's ledger, which will be debited. Then, under Particulars, we will select the ledger for services received, which will be credited along with the relevant charges and taxes. Like all vouchers, the debit note also has a voucher mode. To select it, we will click the Change Mode button and choose as Voucher. In the Particulars section, we will select the supplier's ledger, which will be debited. Below it, the ledgers for expenses and taxes will be credited. The voucher can be accepted only when the total of debits and credits match. I hope all of you have understood the use of debit note and credit note. This is just an explanation. You will get acquainted with these vouchers through practical examples in the video lessons and when you enter them yourself. In the coming video lessons, we will cover the journal voucher type. For now, we just need to understand that journal voucher are used for passing adjustment entries. In the next video lesson, we will discuss the chart given on page 20 of the book. The chart visualizes the first 8 transactions of the company Gokul Cold Drink House, which are listed on page 21. In this lesson, we will practice accounting and understand how debits and credits are posted in ledgers. To view the video lesson, you will need to scan the QR code provided on page 21. That's all for now. See you all in the next lesson. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.